Steve Jobs. A very good evening to one and all, respected dignitaries, faculty members, and participants. I, Alex Tianani, will be your host for the day. Prayer is a silent language of grateful soul, expressing love, faith, and hope. Let's close our eyes for a silent prayer. Coming together is a beginning, staying together is a progress, and working together is a success. Henry Ford. The School of Management, which in the college, takes pride in welcoming you all to the 7-day faculty development program on marketing analytics. Today's topic in the third day of FDP is predictive modeling using KNN algorithm by Dr. Baba Gnanakumar. It is my privilege to introduce the resource person. Dr. Baba Gnanakumar, Professor, School of Management, Director, Center for Consultancy and Corporate Training. Dr. P. Baba Gnanakumar, a Commerce Gold Medalist, has received leadership training from IIM Bangalore, currently serving as the General Secretary of All India College Principals Association and member of AIB, Michigan State University, US. He is also a certified auditor, ISO, TUV. He has been honored with research awards from IIM Bangalore and IIM Kozhikode, with a remarkable portfolio including 127 published articles, 212 presentation, guidance to 12 PhD scholars, and successful completion of 25 research projects. His impactful contributions are underscored by Google citation score exceeding 1,000. I now request Dr. Baba Gnanakumar to take over the section.
Thank you, Alex Anthony. Thank you, my dear faculty members and the participant. So today our topic is based upon the KNN algorithm. Usually we used to call like that. In other words, it is the KNN method. It is equivalent to a one type of clustering. So today we are going to discuss about how to use this KNN algorithm in case of marketing, as well as in marketing analytics. So that is our topic. We will have a discussion about the conceptual framework of KNN algorithm, its procedure. After that, we can have a live demonstration also. I already shared with you the Excel sheet. If you are having the SPSS software, you can also simultaneously do that one. You can download the Excel and keep it in your desktop. And when we started working, you can also start working in the KNN algorithm. That is my humble request. So let us move on to the topic. What is the concept of KNN neighbors? It is called as the supervised machine learning method. Usually it is used for the classification. Say for example, if you want to identify whether a buyer will buy this product or not, a customer will buy a product or not, this algorithm is used by artificial intelligence under the machine learning system. With the input given by the different research people, it will clearly predict that whether this customer will buy from us or not. It is mostly used in case of normal retailing units in which they are using the AI. Of course, it is not exactly the AI. It is used as an AI. It is the machine learning system. That is the simple background of this KNN algorithm. And when we go through the meaning of this nearest neighbors, even KNN refers to the K, which means the total, how many clusters we can create. That is the meaning of K. Nearest, which is the nearest variable. That is why it is called as nearest. Neighbors, of course, it is using the American English. So it used to identify who are all the neighbor. In other words, if you input the different variables, whether he may be classified as a buyer or not. So it is equivalent to a regression algorithm in machine learning. As I already mentioned, it is coming under the supervised learning method. However, the basic idea of this KNN is using the majority of the class. Say, for example, in a class of 50, 25 students are doing the homework. Then it says that based upon the majority of the work, it will classify how many students will complete the homework, how many students will attempt but not complete, how many students won't work. Even in case of educational analytics, we are using the KNN algorithm. That is the application side of this KNN algorithm. Likewise, in case of marketing, it is used for the proximity. Simple thing, proximity refers to the nearest one. Whether a customer is turned to a buyer approximately. The proximate variables it will identify and it will tell. The proximity is used in different cases. If you see this diagram, you can easily understand. One person may assume that buy one, get one free means he will buy and get one. Another customer assume that 50% off. So all are assumptions. But these assumptions are given by us. That is why it is called as supervised learning. When the customer will think like that, it will work based upon the different data points. That is the advantage of this KNN algorithm. Here is a simple example how it will do. That is the output. If you input an image, you are asking what is that one. You can see here is an image of the cat. You are inputting the cat image based upon the already given variable. We already defined what are all the characteristics of this image as a cat. What are all the characteristics of the image of a dog? It will compare and give output that, okay, this is the cat. However, there are a number of drawbacks, but mostly it is used for the purpose of prediction. This is a simple example. Even we can use for the image processing to identify who is this person. Likewise, it is used in statistical purpose to group the customers also. Group the responses. Before K means how they are distinctly different. After K means how they are. So this is the simple applications how we are using the KNN. The simple procedure is when you start the KNN, first it will identify the elbow point. Elbow point means the starting point, which is nearest one. That is called the K. We will see the example, you will understand by the time. Then it will measure the distance between the assumed K with others. Based upon that, it will identify the grouping. What is the minimum distance? Then it will reposition and classify. If it is unable to reposition, once again it will perform the measuring the distance. That is called iteration process. It will go on work based upon the input given by us. It will go on work and find out everything. So another very nice application at present where these people are using the k-means of algorithm. Here I have given a nice example which was taken from January 18, 2024. That is one of the organization named as VME developed a k-means of algorithm for the purpose of detecting cryptocurrency. The cryptocurrency, what will be the prediction for the cryptocurrency, whether any fraud chances are there. To identify the fraud, the KNN algorithm is used. It has been developed by the VB technologies. They nicely developed that one. So that is the advantage of that one. Usually these methods are practically used in different places. This is a simple example where people are using in case of the finance. Prediction purpose, mostly all are done in prediction purpose. They are using for the purpose of prediction. Next example, you can see what are all the different steps involved in case of this KNN algorithm. This is the conceptual view. We will have a demo view also. We can see one by one. That is the first, what is the first process? The first process will start as the defining the value of K. What we call it as elbow point. Elbow point means the first assumed error-free value which has been given by us. That is called K, which is used for making the prediction. That is the first stage. We have to identify the first stage. Coming to the second stage. In the second stage, what it will do, it will calculate the distance from the data point in the given data set. Then it will find out the distance, which, say for example, average. In a classroom, there are 10 students. The average height is 6. That means it will start from 6. Around 6, how many students are there? 6.5 height, 6.77, then 5.8. It will group that one into one classification. That is how it will work in the first level. That is the concept of the second one. Coming to the third step, how it will predict. You can see the example of the third one. In case of third one, it will select the data points which are very shortest. That is the shortest distance points. I told the same example. If the average means is 6, nearby 6, how many persons are there? It will select the data points which are very nearer. That is this next step. In the last step, it will find out clearly how to classify and how to assign the labels. That is the last step. These are the steps used in application side. When we are seeing, you can easily understand this is for the purpose of the conceptual understanding how it is working. In other words, if you want to use this KNN algorithm in SPSS, what are all the steps involved? That I have listed. Same steps we are going to use. First, we have to input the data from the Excel sheet or where you gathered. That is the first stage. Then you have to choose the nearest neighbors. That is the elbow point we have to select. Maybe it depends upon the variable. Then we have to click the analysis in the menu. Once you click the analysis in the menu, you have to specify the variables. What are all the variables there? You have to specify clearly. Then you have to select the variable which you want to predict. That is important thing. Then you have to give the predicted variables. Predicted variables means training set of variables. And you have to find out the value, then run the analysis. Once you click that one, the SPSS will provide the full result. That is how the KNN algorithm is working. That is the procedure which we are using in case of the SPSS. All these things we will have a nice demo today, how it will work. What are all the important points you have to understand? First point, you have to understand that it is a non-parametric algorithm. That means it never assumes any data distribution, normal, classification, binomial, nothing, or Poisson distribution, no distribution. That is not used in case of the KNN algorithm. That is why it is called as the non-parametric. That is the purpose of the KNN algorithm. Even some of the cases, chi-square test is not using any parameters. Like that, here it never use any parameters. Let us start with a simple example. Same thing I shared with you. This is the case what we are going to discuss. Let us go for the demonstration. First, we have to understand, in case of a marketing survey, you asked the number of questions. You are going to find out the buying habits of an iPhone or any phone. That is the core area. Maybe preference study, anything. So that is the core objective of that questions. So you are creating a simple questions. I have selected few questions, not all the questions. You are selecting the age group, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. You are coding the age group, less than 18, 18 to 21, above 21 to 30. That is the one question you are having. Second question, you are having an income group. First one, no income group. For the purpose of the analysis, I created the no group as the 3. We can also classify, because at the end you may ask 1 is equal to 1, everybody knows. That is why I created the reverse direction. Income group, no income group, they are depending upon the earnings of the parents. That is the group 3, coded as group 3. Second one, coded as group 2, the annual income less than 6 lakh rupees. That is coded as 2. Next, group 1, annual income greater than 6 lakhs. Is the second question. Usually, based upon that, we have to take some demographic decision. That is why I added all those things. Next question about the gender, usually male and female. You can give any one, any two for anything. That is the traditional one. That is the demographic profile of the participants that is responded. Then here, the preference. What is the preference of buying? You are wishing to test the iPhone, maybe 3 you want to test, that is the buying the iPhone. 2 refers to the buying a Samsung phone. That is assumption. Then others, one is classified as the others. That is the coding. I coded like that. It's taken from one sample survey. But what we want to test, this is the research hypothesis, not statistical hypothesis. We assume that the persons who are having annual income more than rupees 6 lakhs are preferring iPhone. That's just assumption. It may be different. Well, you can create any assumptions and check. Here, the assumption of the research is simple thing for our understanding that everyone know. Those who are having higher income group, they will prefer the iPhone. There is no need for research. Anyhow, for your understanding, we created that one. We have to check. Okay, that is the research hypothesis. Any place you can create. If you want to study whether the customers will buy or not, you can mention the income group of less than 6 lakh rupees will buy, or age group of 18 to 21 will buy. You can create. Any assumptions from all these questions we can create. Yes, that is the research hypothesis. The research hypothesis has been mentioned in the form of coded words. That means if the income category is 1, that is high level, let us assume that phone category is 3, they will prefer iPhone 3. That is how we are creating some hypothesis. Okay. So we are having the data. I already shared you the data of that one. You can also open the data by this time. I will also first open the Excel. I start screen sharing. Okay. Yes. Right. Wait. Yes. Once again, I will stop sharing and closing this. Yes. Yes. I hope you are able to see the screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the questionnaire responses. That is, let us assume like this. That is the respondents number, then the income group, age group. This is what I have given here. That is a age group. We are having the 4 classification. Income group, we are given the reverse direction. Then gender, then preference towards mobile. Let us have that classification. Okay. So one means the income group annual income greater than 6 lakh. That's what I assumed here for the purpose of our understanding. This is the Excel sheet which we created for around 112 persons. Okay, sorry, responses. Around 109. 109 responses we gathered and we created the response, age group, income group, gender, then preference towards mobile. This is the question. But we want to check that very clearly whether the income group having more than 6 lakh will go for buying the iPhone. That is the concept what we are going to check. So what are all the things we have to understand? We have to train the variables. First concept is called training the variables. We fix the research hypothesis, that is annual income more than 6 lakhs will prefer iPhone. That is our research hypothesis. For this research hypothesis, we are going to check. So, since it is a machine learning and supervised one, we have to now train these variables. So that is core thing. We have to train all these things. How to train these variables? That is the core thing we have to understand. So in our example, the annual income greater than 6 lakhs, we assume that they will buy iPhone. It is not necessary that we have to train all the variables. We can select a group. Here in this example, I have selected only 16 or 17 for the purpose of training. So how to train is very important because this is a non-parametric test. Since it is a non-parametric test, we have to train the variables. So how to train these variables? That is, if annual income more than 6 lakhs, we will prefer iPhone. That is what we are going to check. So I am going to add the training variables here. Next stage, I am going to add. That is next column, training. Now we are going to train the system so that it will work based upon that one. We assume that if income group is 1, they will buy the iPhone. That is our aim. So that is how we are going to check. So we are training that one. In case of the annual income greater than 6 lakh, that is if the income category is 1, they will prefer category 3. So you can see that one. The income category here is 1. And since it is 1, we are going to train this variable as 3. That is how. Like I'm showing income group 1 is going to be trained as 3. That is what we are expecting. Income group 3 is trained as 1. This is the input we have to give. That is important. Training the variables is important. It is based upon the hypothesis what we fixed. Okay? Then this third category 1 means income group 1 means they will prefer I3. Then 2, training variable is 2 because that is the middle income group will buy Samsung. That is how we are training. That is the assumption we are going to fix. Then we will find out whether our assumption is correct, whether we can predict with the help of these variables everything. Here it is 3, means here 1. That is the last category. 2 means same thing here 2. There are another variable. Income group is 2, then 2. Here it is 3. So I'm making as 1. This is the core thing in case of the algorithm. 1 means 3. That is the using the concept here. You can see that one. That is income group greater than 6 lakh buying the iPhone. Okay. 3, here it is 3. So I am training as 1. This is 2. I am training as 2. You can train limited variables. Here I have mentioned more thing. 3 means 1. 1 here it means 3. So just for the sake, it depends upon usually 10 to 15 variables we can train. If you train more variables, then it means that the result will be accurate. So now we have completed the training of variables. So the training variables have been completed. So training variable shows 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, like that. This is called the training variable. So understand, in case of supervised learning, it is our duty to train the variables. Here I have trained the variables. This training is important. Then only it will tell whether he will buy or not. That is the advantages of using AI. How AI will predict? We have to first train the system. This is the procedure used for training. So I hope you might have understood this training method. Without training, we can't do anything in KNN algorithm. Okay? Even though there are number of, I think, 109 responses, even if it is 1,000, 2,000, we can use Python. You can train only 25 variables. Based upon this only, it will give the output. In AI, this training is given. Based upon the training variable only, it will predict. Here, I have based upon the income group. Even you can select the age group and you can train. Or you can combine age group, income group, gender, and give the training variable. It depends upon your hypothesis. You mentioned that under the age group of 3, income group of 1, gender 1, they are preferring 2 only, means you can define as 2. The assumption what you are mentioning, you are going to define. That is how artificial intelligence is working. The system is not having mindset. We have to train the system to do. Here we have trained. So think that one, this is the core idea of training. Even when we are going supervised learning, we have to first give these training variables, understand the method of training. So without training, there is no KNN algorithm. Okay. So how we have training? Now the training set has been over. We have well trained all these variables. Since we have trained everything, now we will move on to the next stage. Next stage only, we are moving towards the SPSS package, okay, for the purpose of your understanding. So from the Excel, we are moving to the SPSS. Yes. You can open the blank SPSS. I hope you are able to see the screen. Are you able to see the screen? The SPSS screen also. Okay. So this is a blank one. Now I am copying and pasting here. Okay. From the Excel sheet. Okay. First, all these without training variables, all these variables, including our responses. Yes. For your understanding, I'm using slowly. We can directly link the Excel over writing slowly. So variable 1 is the responses, that is respondents. Variable 2, you can check the Excel file, that is the age group. So I'm entering as age. Next variable from the Excel heading, income. Income. Fourth variable, gender. And the last variable, preference. That is what we gathered. Okay. So these are all the input what you have given from the collected data. Now, in case of Excel, we already defined the training variables also. So now we have to input the training variables also. That is important because in case of this algorithm, it will train. So since we have to train the variables, all these training variables also I am selecting. Although we have selected few only, I have selected this training variable and going to data view and posting that one. This run training, it is only limited. We have trained up to 15 only. And in the variable view, I'm mentioning as training. Training preference. So, to understand, we have now taken from the Excel and posted in the SPSS. That is the concept. The respondents, it is the string only because the name of the responses. Then the age, income, gender, preference. We are identifying only these things. You can add any number of variables for this one. But our hypothesis, we are fixing based upon the income. Even then, you can add any number of variables. Finally, since it is a supervised learning system, we have to include the training also. Without the training variables, also you can work, it will only classify, but only if you give the training, it will tell clearly the result. Okay. So now we have trained everything. After training that variable, now I am going to the next stage. Okay. The variables are given here. So now we rename the variables clearly, the respondents, age, income, gender, preference towards mobile, then the training variables. We named everything. Once we name, now we will come to the analysis part. How to analyze that one. Okay. Go to analyze, go to classify. Under that, nearest neighbor. Yes, now it shows the nearest neighbor. So since it shows the nearest neighbor, we have to scan the data, permitting the scan the data. So I'm scanning the data. Once, if you click the scanning the data, the new dialog box will appear like this. What are all the variables we have to select? The target variable is the core thing, what we trained. That only we are going to find out. So I have selected the training preference, that is training variable, and posted into target. That is how we are training. Now we are adding remaining thing. We can add age, income, gender. Preference not needed. If you want, usually we are going to predict. Okay. So once you added, go to OK. Yes. Oh, I have not completed that one. Once again, analyze, classify, nearest neighbor, yes, training. You have to click the save. In case of save, you have to the predicted value category. Predicted value category is needed because that is the core output, predicted value or category. Okay. Yes. Now, if you go to the data, it has created the predicted value. You can see the output, you can see in the output file also. Of course, we are given the 3 variables. So I started from the 3 dimensions, but it created yes, the KNN predicted value. So now it has given a prediction value. Based upon this income, it has given the prediction value. So understand the concept of that one. So the procedure, once again, you have to understand the procedure. First, you have to go to the variables, analyze, then scan. Once you scan, then enter the variables, then save the predicted value. You have to save the predicted value. That is the thing. Once you predicted that one, the output you will get. The output from this output, now you have to go for interpretation. Okay. Now what you can see the KNN value. Yes. Now this output, I wish to compare whether the preference is correct or not. Because our assumption is based upon the income. So once again, I am testing with the help of t-test whether our value is going correctly. That is why going for t-test, analyze, compare means, paired sample test. Yes. On paired sample test, we have to include these 2 things. That is preference and predicted value. That's what we identified. What we trained and what we predicted. It should be same, not different. Yes. So you can see the result of the paired sample test. It comes. So remember that when you run, based upon the iteration, it will change. Okay. And the paired sample correlation is not there. However, the paired sample test, the value is 0.262. That means both are equal. As per the t-test rule, it should be 0.05 or less than 0.05 means both are different. But here, the values are greater than 0.05. That means the prediction as well as the original values are more or less same. That means that the prediction is correct. So you have to understand the concept of prediction. Since the prediction is correct, then whatever the values we can give and predict. If the income level is greater than 6 lakh rupees, it means that they will buy the iPhone. That is the prediction value. You can go to the data. You can see here example this. Even though we are given 1, we have predicted as 3, but KN predicted as 1 because there are number of other factors, not only income. we are having age, gender, preference. Say, for example, the age group is 3 and income group is high, gender is 1. It predicts that they won't buy the iPhone. They will buy the other phones. That is how it will give. You can see this, say, for example, 30th one, 1, 1, 2, but it predicted 3 exactly. That means they will buy the iPhone. 3 means the phone. That is how it predicted. So in case of prediction value, even you can copy this thing and you can paste in Excel. Yes, this is the predicted value. As per the KNN algorithm. How the KNN algorithm predicted that one. So same, we are checking with this one based upon the finally t-test. Since we fixed the hypothesis like that, usually t-test means we will go for both are different. That is why if the value is less than 0.05, the significance level, we will reject the null hypothesis. But here, the value is 0.262, it is greater than that value. That means we have to go for accepting that one. That means both predicted value as well as the original value are same. That is the testing of accuracy of KNN algorithm. So, dear participants, based upon this thing, once again, I'm telling the procedure. We are gathering the data of all those things, age, income, everything. Then we are training the variables. This is the manual training. Once you train the variables manually, then you can input in the SPSS. Once you input the SPSS, we can go for the calculations. In case of calculations, you have to go for the analyze. Under the analyze, you have to go for the nearest neighbors. In the nearest neighbors, you have to select the scanning. That is the traditional procedure you have to follow. So simple thing, once again, very easiest procedure in SPSS, but in machine learning, it is very important to mention. So first stage is the prediction. We have to train the variables. Once you train the variables, post it in the SPSS. Once you post that one, you have to select the nearest neighbor algorithm. Once you select the algorithm, you have to scan the data. Once you scan the data, you have to fix the target. The training variable should come under the target. Then you have to save. If you fail to save, it won't come under the data view. Okay, predicted value category, you have to put the tick mark and save. Once you put the tick mark, then you can, the output will be there. It will show the data, the predicted value. Then, if you want to test the accuracy of the prediction value, we can go for the t-test. Since all the variables are paired with the same respondent, I use the pair test. Of course, this is the parametric test. Testing with the parametric type. Doing the work with the supervised algorithm with non-parametric. But when I wish to check the accuracy of that one, I am using the parametric test. The reason, the prediction value not only depend upon the income, it may also depend upon age and gender. That is why I use to predict with that one also. Okay. So how to t-test, I think most of you know. The results of the test, you have to interpret correctly. Usually, we will fix that the value is 0.05. Both are different. But here we expect the null hypothesis to be accepted because both should go in same direction. So that is the procedure for KNN algorithm. Mostly in case of marketing, especially in case of Bangalore, if you see the example of this market city, Phoenix Market City and big malls, they are using this KNN algorithm to find out whether a person will buy the product or not. Already input variables will be there. They might have trained. 1 week they used to train by seeing the customer. What is the approximate age? What is his facial impression? Based upon the facial impression, they will decide the age. Then, based upon his buying habit with some other store, they will find out whether he is able to buy. He is having the buying capacity. Then whether he is coming with friends, because some of them are having an influencer of friends. So friends are coming. All these variables are automatically stored based upon the one Sunday. After that, the camera will find out a customer. When he enters into the store using the supervised learning method and AI, it will tell that he will buy or not, whether he is a potential customer or not. Simply speaking, in olden days, if you go to the cloth center, by seeing your face, the sales representative will tell whether these people come here for buying or not. Simple thing. He used his own processing, how he will identify by seeing the face recognition of the customer, how many persons has come, what is their language, what is the purpose of entering into the store. By seeing that one, he will tell clearly whether this customer will buy or not. That is his simple mind. Even in case of Bangalore, if you go to Shivaji Nagar, you can find out. They will tell clearly. They are not using KNN algorithm. In case of Coimbatore, you can go to the Raja Street, you can find out clearly. Town hall area in Coimbatore, you can find out clearly whether the persons will buy. But same thing, now it has been converted into KNN algorithm, and for the purpose of supervised learning through machine learning, we created this type of things. But in this algorithm, the training of variables are very important. Without training the variable, we can't do anything. Same thing, the sales representative, by seeing a person, is training, okay, whether he will buy or not. So based upon that only, he is taking the decision. Same thing in case of the algorithm. When you are entering into that one, you have to train. This training is important. We can't train all this person. We can train only 1% or 2%. Once the training is successful, then the machine learning will do everything based upon our supervision, because this is a non-parametric test. If we want to check the accuracy of this non-parametric test, we can go for the parametric test using the t-test. By using the t-test, we can check what is the actual preference, what is the predicted value. If they are going in same direction, it means that the algorithm is working correctly. If it is a failure, once again we have to train the variable. That is the iteration purpose. Say for example, if in our example it comes 0.001, that means our training is fault. Once again we have to train, or you can increase the training variables. We have trained up to 15 respondents. We have to increase the respondent to 25. Then the training will be accurate. So based upon the training result will come. But the result validity is checked with the help of the t-test. So that is for today. You can check the Excel sheet, what I shared in the WhatsApp group. You can also practice with the help of SPSS, the same procedure, how we did. We will share the recordings also. Try to practice. At the end, you are able to understand. For the researchers, they must know the preference. Most of the marketing researchers are doing in preference level, but preference they are not measuring. If there's a relation between age and preference, you have to define. You can create a hypothesis whether age is the main tool to decide the purchasing habit. Some cases it will be like that. For researchers, this will be used for the purpose of checking their validity. What are all the variables used to measure the customer preference? Which variable is having the more value, it will be acceptable. That is for researchers. But marketing people, marketing intelligence team, this way, KNN is used practically for the purpose of exact decision of whether a customer will buy or not. You can see in any malls in all the major cities. With this, I conclude. If you are having any doubt, you can ask. We are having another 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Baba sir. It was a very insightful session and very well explained in both the softwares, Excel and SPSS. I hope all the participants would have benefited from this particular session. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you, madam.